All right, we are live and welcome back. It's Talking Oscars. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and I am here once again with Alex Howard from the Dark Room Podcast. Say hi, Alex.
Hey guys.
And we're just two blind guys hanging out predicting the Oscars. And
Yeah.
just just talking about the best actor race, and we're doing daring predictions the day before the Golden Globe nominations, which could radically change the state of the race.
Could it
Although,
though? Could it?
yeah, I don't know. I feel like if somebody got left out that was like a major contender, I feel like that would be shocking. But last year they nominated. I can't think of what's his name from that A24 movie that didn't go anywhere. I can't even think of the name of the movie or him, and I've seen the movie and his
Oh, Paul
performance.
Mescal?
No, not because he ended up getting an Oscar nomination. Um, but they nominated the other guy.
Are
I
you thinking
forget.
about Swan Song, Mahershala? Is that what you're thinking
No,
about?
that was a couple
No?
years ago. That was a great movie
Okay.
though.
That's a great
Uh,
movie. I agree. It's very
yeah,
underrated.
the military movie. Gabrielle Union was supporting actress also in that.
Yes. I saw it
Yeah,
too. I can't remember the name of it. I
yeah,
saw it in theaters.
that movie just suddenly surprisingly got a best actor nomination. Everyone was like, oh, all right. And so
I think when it
yeah,
got the
then Hugh,
nomination I was like, I guess I have to watch this now.
yeah, Hugh Jackman got that nomination for The Sun because I guess nobody watched The Sun. They probably just voted for Hugh Jackman because I assume that because I've seen The Sun and I hated it. So I assume everybody probably was just like, nah, we didn't
Yeah.
see it. But it's Hugh Jackman, so we'll vote for him. So this year
I think if
could be
someone gets left
interesting.
out, it'll have an impact. But I
Yeah.
don't see if someone gets, a nomination that we're not expecting, I don't see that having an impact.
Yeah,
Because it's,
especially with 12 nominations, I feel like between drama and comedy, that's 12 names to
yeah,
put
yeah.
in a race of 5. So if you don't hear your name called tomorrow, just go to bed.
Zero chance.
Just go to bed. If
Unless
you
your
think
name
you're
is
good.
Andrew Riseborough, you don't have a chance.
Yeah. All right. So let's kick it off, and I hope this is. I think this is gonna be interesting. I This is a race where, like, as long when because I was doing my own talking Oscars videos before I invited you guys in, and since the very beginning, I noticed everybody else on the internet was doing it. This is the race where it felt too comfortable, way too early on. It was like the same 5 people since like May. Like, like the internet has been predicting the same, and then all of a sudden, American Fiction like came into existence and started to change things up, and now the race has gotten interesting. But man, it was like the same 5 people over and over. So I kind of wonder where our lists are going to be. Let's see if we have some different opinions now that there are more films,
I think there are
uh,
6
so a
possibilities
couple
and 5 spots.
precursors. I think maybe more than that. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what we got. So, who's your number one pick?
So my number one pick is, oh my god, I hope I say his first name right. Killian Murphy, I think is a shoe in. I think he's probably at this point the favorite to win. I think there's maybe only one other person that could steal it from him, but I mean, I don't see a world where he doesn't get nominated for Oppenheimer.
Uh, I'm starting to feel that. I felt that less in the very beginning, only because we hadn't seen the rest of the crop. He's my number 3
Okay.
on my list. I think he's good for a nomination, but just the way that the Oscars have treated Christopher Nolan and Christopher Nolan films over the years really had me. I'm really trepidatious about going so hard on Oppenheimer because it's like everybody's like, this is his time. And it's like, he's only ever been nominated for director once, and he's only ever gotten one actor to a nomination. He's not
Yeah.
This is not something that regularly happens with Christopher Nolan, and he's been a prolific director for years. He has been a director at the top of everybody's list with films at the top of his game, making everybody's top 10 lists and top IMDb top 250. You know, he's been doing that for years, every film now, and he has so few nominations. It's really depressing.
And
So
see, I'm
I hope Killian is good to go because he deserves to finally be called an Oscar nominee. But
I'm not a big Oppenheimer person, so I
yeah,
would be fine with the things you're talking about happening. I think it's gonna get nominated in every category people are talking about, but I think there are better movies that should win. But yeah, I do think he's a shoo-in for a nomination for sure.
yeah,
So who
I'm impressed that they got Oppenheimer a Japan release
yeah,
finally. I don't know how they managed that, but they got it. It
yeah,
happened. So yeah, so it's Killian Murphy. My number one is Paul Giamatti for The
nice.
Holdovers. Uh, I feel like I shouldn't bet on him because Oscars again tell me not to bet on Paul Giamatti, but it's been so long since his last nomination that I feel like there feels almost like there's this it's their time thing. It feels like almost like when Gary Oldman won for Darkest Hour and like we came back around to him and we, everybody was willing to like go to go to town for Gary Oldman. It kind of feels like that's what's happening for Paul Giamatti. There's such a groundswell of love for him because of the career that he's built as an actor. I think he's locked for nomination, and I, I think he might win. I don't know.
Yeah, he's my number two. He's the one that I said might win it over Cillian Murphy. I mean, like, he didn't get nominated for Big Fat Liar. He didn't get nominated for Amazing Spider-Man 2. So I feel like he's owed something, you know?
Yeah. This- I mean, I could pull like a crappy film out of everyone's film career. I feel
No,
like
I
easily,
know.
but that's hilarious.
He was blue in Big Fat Liar. How did we omit him from the Oscars that
and
year?
and Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bynes too. I mean,
Yeah.
like really, the whole cast should have swept
No, but I
from
think
that.
The Holdovers is solid. That was one that I saw at TIFF. I think, yeah. And it's funny because the performances in that movie are so subtle. So much they're not like your typical like, oh, that's the Oscar scene, where they're crying and this is the scene that you're gonna submit. It's much more subtle than that. And I think I really like that. I didn't walk out of that movie thinking, oh my God, those are Oscar worthy performances. But the more you think about it, it totally is because it's more real than most other performances. And I think the
Yeah,
fact that they talked about this on FYC, that the other show that we watched, I didn't even think about this, but he created this character,
yeah,
which is also really great that it's not based on anyone.
exactly. Yeah, he's up against a lot of biopic people and a lot of people who are doing heavy makeup work and all that kind of thing. And he's just kind of doing his thing.
Hmm.
He's kind of being this character that's just an original character. Alexander Payne knows how to direct Paul Giamatti. He's proven that before. I feel like I feel like this crowd pleaser of a film is probably going to be it. Its box office isn't doing great,
No.
but it is available already on VOD. So hopefully it can gain a following and people will turn out to love it. It's a Christmas movie. As close as we get to Christmas, maybe they'll give it another little push with some, trailers and stuff to get people to go see it. But
It's funny. I was
yeah,
thinking, I don't know if it'll still be in theaters on Christmas because there's a solid 6 or 7 movies that are coming out between now and Christmas. So we'll see.
the
But
weird thing about Oscar movies though is that sometimes they hang on for a while. Like if you think that if the buzz is there, a lot of these major like 20 screen theaters they'll keep it even if it's only running like one or two performances a day.
mhm,
So so that helps. Anyway, so we got your number one and your number two.
yeah.
What's your number three?
Let me look at my gold derby. My number three is Bradley Cooper for my show. This is sight unseen because I haven't been able to get over to the Egyptian to see it yet. But from all accounts, I hear he's really great in the movie. I mean, as is Carey Mulligan, but I think I mean, what is it? He has like 7 Oscar nominations, including all of his producing stuff. So
He
I think
does. It's like 9, but it's
okay,
really
yeah.
like 7. I mean, everybody brings that up, but they're like, "Oh, he's got 9." They make it sound like that's it's not going to be a factor. Yeah, he's
No,
been
no.
nominated multiple times. He's playing Leonard Bernstein, who I
I
think
don't
is perhaps more beloved than Oppenheimer is.
yeah, it's like
Uh,
I don't
so
see him winning. I haven't seen the movie, but, like, I think there are other names that could win, but I do think he'll be nominated.
I think he could win. I think
Okay.
this what's really interesting this year is I feel like there isn't a clear front runner, and I feel like all these people are kind of in the mix. And it'll be interesting to see when we get down to the final five, like who's been winning all the precursors, because I think that's going to help sort of shape the race a little bit better. But I think there's a lot of great performances, and they're all on like an even playing field. With Cooper, he does have a lot of nominations, even for acting already. So I feel like if
How many
people are
does he
going
have
to
for
vote for
acting? I think
him,
2?
he has, I believe, 4. I think he has 3 lead actors and 1 supporting. I think he has 4 nominations.
Okay.
I think he has a
Star is
supporting
Born.
for American Hustle. He has A Star Is Born. He has Silver Linings Playbook, and he has American Sniper.
Okay.
So he's been nominated 4 times for acting. So this would be his 5th nomination. It kind of feels like I think if the people who are passionate about him are passionate about him, they're passionate about him winning.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of being passionate about somebody's 5th nomination? It's you know, at a
Yeah.
certain point.
Is he
But
on your list anywhere?
yeah, he's my number 2 actually. So
Okay.
we both have the same top 3. We just have them jumbled
Okay.
in a little bit. But he's the one, the other one that I think possibly could win. They love makeup performances too. You know, they love to just slap a lot of makeup on somebody and just call it a day and be
Yeah.
like, "There you go, the makeup won." So he's got that going in his favor. Anyway, so with our top 3 solid, what's your what do you got? What do you got at number 4?
So number 4 for me is Jeffrey Wright. I have not had the chance to see American Fiction yet because it didn't have audio description at TIFF, and I obviously love pointing that out because they need to improve that. But I I'm gonna have a depressing Christmas week because I plan on seeing American Fiction, All of Us Strangers, and um, what's the other big one? There's The Color Purple, and there's another depressing one coming out. It's gonna be a tough Christmas week, but
Origin or some? No, Origin's only this week.
yeah,
That's right.
there's one other one that I honestly cannot. There's a lot coming out on Christmas, but
The
anyway,
Iron Claw.
yes, Jeffrey Wright's my number 4.
Yeah, he's my number 4 too. Did it have distribution though at TIFF? Because it wasn't that its world premiere.
It was its world premiere, yes,
Didn't it get picked up out of TIFF?
yes,
Or
but
yeah,
I I hate using that as an excuse for not having audio description because it's not. But it,
yeah. I mean, independent, films with producers. The producer could pay for it. I know that they're hoping
yeah,
that the studio pays for it. So it's tough, but I think because you just said it doesn't have audio description. I'm like, is this Amazon MGM? I think I think
yeah, it
they're
is. Yeah,
gonna do audio description for it. He's also my number 4. It's so
okay,
nice to see Jeffrey Wright actually in the Oscar conversation in a way that actually feels like he might get it this time. Dude's been around forever. He's got multiple Emmy nominations. He was fantastic. He's been fantastic in everything. He's
yeah.
already, I loved him in Rustin. He's got one of my favorite supporting actor performances of the year in Rustin, and
See, I'm
it's
gonna
it's
watch
such a
Rustin. I get on a plane on Wednesday, and I plan on watching Rustin on the plane. So I haven't actually seen
yeah,
it yet.
he's great. It's not a lot. It's not a big performance, but he just is amazing in it. And Jeffrey Wright is a fantastic actor, and I love this nomination for him, and I hope he gets it. So, although
Yeah,
we have the same top 4,
it'll be great to see. Yeah, he's never been nominated for an Oscar. He's been nominated for an
no,
Emmy a bunch of times.
yeah,
So I'm excited to see him. Hopefully, he's been appearing in more stuff. I think since Westworld, like he was in the Batman, obviously. But I feel
yeah,
like if he gets an Oscar nomination, he'll be in tons more.
yeah. I feel like it reaching all the way back to his performance in Basquiat. It's just like you know, how has he been around for this long without an Oscar nomination?
Yeah.
I don't know. And he didn't get one for Shaft either for that supporting actor for playing a Puerto Rican or whatever, Dominican or whatever he was playing in
Sorry.
Shaft.
Are we talking about the new Shaft or the old
No,
Shaft?
no, no, the Samuel Jackson Shaft. Since we were
Okay.
pulling out big fat liar type performances, I thought I'd
Nice,
pull out
nice.
Jeffrey
Okay, there you
Wright's
go.
villain performance in Shaft,
Okay.
which was interesting. So, all right, so now it comes down to who do we think is rounding out the top five?
Yeah, it'll be
I
interesting
will
to
let
see if we
you
have the same
lead.
one.
You're going to lead the charge on this one because I don't think we have the same number five.
All right, so my number 5 is Coleman Domingo. I keep hearing great things about Rustin. I can't wait to watch it on the plane. I have not been in the mood to sit down and watch a civil rights movie in my living room, so I'm gonna watch it on the plane. Um, and yeah, I think I hear great things, and once again, it's 17, so I don't have much to say about him. But I hear he's also great in The Color Purple.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I have my fingers crossed for Coleman. Personally, he's like of the 188 films I've seen this year. He's my number one for best actor, on my personal list right now of performances, but he's not my number five.
Ooh,
My number five is Andrew Scott for All of Us
ooh,
Strangers.
wow, you really shook this up, didn't you? I thought you were gonna say someone
I
else.
did.
Okay, okay.
I've come to learn that the Oscars like to screw with people and they don't do the typical thing. And a lot of people,
Like the
they're
Paul Mescal kind of thing.
yeah, they could just slide him in at the last minute. His film is opening later, which is why we haven't heard quite as much buzz. I think he's quite likely to get a Golden Globe nomination tomorrow morning. He is a recognizable actor. He's an up and coming actor. It feels like it's his time where they could give him that nod. I think this film has been really well received. I know there's a little bit of that concern of is it too gay for mainstream voters? But I think at the end of the day, it's Fox Searchlight, and I don't know what else they're pushing in this category, but Rustin is dead. Netflix. I don't know what Netflix is doing with Rustin. I don't know if I don't know how they're planning on putting an adrenaline shot in Rustin to get people to watch it, but like we've talked about you catching up on all these Oscar films. You told me like the other day you watched like 4 films, and you still haven't seen Rustin. And this is the problem with
No,
Rustin is that it's just not a priority for anybody. It's
it's
like
just because
everybody
like
can agree that Coleman Domingo is great, but
I feel
it's not going any. It's like Naiad. Like
I
Naiad and Rustin people are like, oh, those are good movies and they're great performances.
okay. As far as
It's
Naiad goes, I wish that was getting more attention. I love Naiad. I think the acting is something Nyan could get. Pictures out of the question. Same with Rustin. Pictures out of the
yeah.
question. It's just like there and with Netflix dropping things every week that are Oscar bait. Like I was much more in the mood to watch an uncomfortable May December movie than I was to watch Rustin, which I know is probably a more important movie, but it's like we already know the story. So
Yeah,
I
even with
yeah,
May December, I feel like Netflix so badly wants Maestro that they're
yeah
willing
they
to
do.
let all of their other films die so that
Yeah.
Maestro can win. Because they have so many films that are up
Yeah.
for consideration that just seem to, I don't know if it's lack of promotion, but they're just premiering and they're just dying, And there are people out there that loved Fair Play. Fair Play was
I
released
love Fair
way
Play.
too early, and Fair Play
Fair
just
Play,
isn't
I'm
going
hoping will get some
anywhere
Golden Globe
at
nominations.
all. I mean, they totally mishandled Fair Play. They totally mishandled Naiad. They've murdered Rustin. The Killer's not doing anything. They have
Well, The
all these
Killer,
films that were
honestly, I don't
all
think The Killer deserves to do anything, but yeah.
uh yeah, but I mean David Fincher usually I mean his films usually get a nomination somewhere. This
Yeah.
film actually feels like it may be like Fincher's first film since I don't know, like Panic Room to not get a nomination.
I also think his
So
weakest film since Panic Room too, so
Well, I didn't like Mank, so
Well, that's true. Actually, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I wasn't a fan of. Mank
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Oscar nominations due to COVID. For being honest,
But as
I think
far as
if it
all of
had
us
opened in a
strangers
normal
go,
year, it would not have gotten as much love as it did.
as far as
But
all of us strangers go, I am
yeah,
super excited to see that. That's one of my depressing Christmas movies I'm looking forward to because one of my favorite things is crying in movies. If a movie can make me cry, I love it. So I
I've heard that's
hear
what
I
this
hear all of us
does.
strangers leaves you in tears. So I'm super excited.
I've heard that's what this film is for. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I think he's gonna get in. I think he's gonna surprise the hell out of everybody, and everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck happened to Coleman Domingo and Leonardo DiCaprio?" And
Yeah.
we're gonna be like, "Andrew Scott's in. He made it."
So
You
I
know.
think both
So
of us are in agreement though. We think Leo is not going to be in there. Correct.
yeah. The thing about Leo is, I think he's in the Tom Hanks phase of his life where he's been so consistent and so good that now it's hard for him to get nominated for everything that he does. There was a period where Tom Hanks was just making films and turning them out, and he was doing like Bridge of Spies and just like falling flat.
Yeah.
I mean, just films were coming out, and he would be like, "Yeah, it's
Pinocchio.
really great," and then somebody else might get nominated from it, and then he wouldn't get nominated from it, and like the Bridge of Spies is an excellent example because that was Mark Rylance,
Yeah.
and Tom Hanks. Where'd he
Yeah.
go? Like where'd Tom Hanks go? So Mark Rylance goes on to win the Oscar, and Tom Hanks can't even get nominated. So I think that's exactly where DiCaprio's at, where he's gonna not get nominated. Lily Gladstone could go on to win the Oscar. So
Do you think De
um,
Niro is going to be nominated?
I think De Niro is interesting. I wonder. I had him in, and I keep thinking about his speech, and I wonder how that's going to help or hurt him.
You mean
I
his
kind of
Oscar
want to
speech?
see. No, no, no. His Gotham speech, the one
Oh,
that they censored, and he went ahead and redid, so that people could hear the whole speech. The controversy around that, I don't know. The voting body has to vote for him, and he did miss out on The Irishman, and he's incredibly politically outspoken right now, and used his time on stage to be politically outspoken. I love him for it. I just don't know if that helps or hurts him, and I haven't quite figured. Kind of want to see what happens with the Globes with him, because if he gets left out of the Globes, that's an indicator to me that people are moving away from him, that they maybe don't want him to accidentally be on stage
okay. So,
making that same speech. So
so yeah, let's talk about the Globes for a second. So you said there's 12. Obviously, they do comedy and drama, and usually they do best actor, best actress in comedy and drama. But then for supporting, they do those combined. Are they still doing those combined this year?
yep, but it's six nominees.
It's six
So
on. Okay. Yeah, I think supporting actor is honestly more crowded this year than actor is. Like, I would love to see the what's his name from May December get in there. I thought he was so good.
he's been winning enough awards where I think there's a possibility that he could get in. I think
What is his name again?
Charles Melton.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
think he
there's
should
there's
win.
there's a strong
Oh,
possibility that he. I think I have him predicted right now in Gold Derby,
yeah.
because I don't have both of the Poor Things guys. I don't. I think Willem Dafoe is going to find himself getting left out a lot over Mark Ruffalo.
And do you think
Um,
Glenn Howerton will get a nomination tomorrow for Golden Globes?
yeah, I have Glenn Howard in too, because I'm predicting. I'm kind of wondering if once we start getting these voting bodies, if they're going to start this, they have a great opportunity at the Golden Globes to nominate Ryan Gosling in lead,
Yes.
because I think he's lead,
I,
and
yeah.
I think last year with the whole thing, Michelle Williams was like, "I'm lead for the Fablemans." Ryan, if Michelle Williams is lead for the Fablemans, I don't know how Ryan Gosling is not a lead for Barbie. I mean,
Yeah.
by the reasoning that she used to campaign for lead, Ryan Gosling should be using all of that same to be in lead category. And I
Okay,
think
so
there's a
let's say
possibility that because it's comedy, and they're thinking about his performance as a comedic performance, that he could end up in a Best Actor in a comedy because his performance leans so heavily that way, and
So
there's
if
he has so
let's
much
say
screen
that
time for that.
he gets best lead in a comedy tomorrow at the Globes, do you think they would then put him in lead in the Oscars?
I think it'll open up for an interesting conversation about where he goes, because I think that's the kind of thing where I think it could be a Golden Globe surprise. I noticed Gold Derby is letting people predict Ryan Gosling in lead, and I went with it. And yeah, because I think when they think of comedy and they look at Ryan Gosling, that's what everybody's been saying is how hilarious he is. I don't know how you don't make sure he gets nominated under the comedy category, and
So
his performance is big enough.
if
So
he does go for lead, I would take out one of my people to put him in my 5 for lead for the Oscars because I do think he does a great comedic performance in Barbie with the dancing and everything. He's so good.
yeah, I don't think Barbie's gonna get that many nominations. I don't have I Either way, I don't have him in my Oscar nomination.
Okay.
My thing about Barbie, which I have seen now, by the way, is he's great, but he's done comedy before. A lot of the things that people are highlighting about his performance, he's done before. He's sung, he's danced, he's been
Yeah,
funny. These are not things that are
but he's
unique
been
to his
nominated when he does that.
performance. He has been, but it's not like they're making it seem like this is like the one, like a shocking performance, like when Monique was in Precious, and we were all like, "Oh my God, she can act."
Yeah, yeah.
But it's she, he's done these things before, and the other thing is generally when people get nominated for a comedic performance, for a comedy, for a film, like sort of like out of the blue, and it becomes like a Melissa McCarthy, Bridesmaids, Joan Cusack, In and Out. It's because they're the only one. They stand out so much, and their performance is so funny that you can't say no to it. Except for the fact that for Barbie, they're trying to get the trifecta. They're trying to get Margot, Ryan, and America Ferrera in, which makes me think: does he really stand out that much? If you're That's basically a normal film nomination. You're basically running a regular campaign for the film. He's not really standing out that much when you're also trying to make sure that you're getting two other acting nominations.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see the narrative that everybody else is talking about with Ryan Gosling. I think he's
I mean, Ryan Gosling's my favorite actor, so I'm 100% biased, but yeah.
I think he's a great actor. I just don't know. I think the category is so tight where he could be the surprising snub in the supporting actor category. I think a lot of people are way over projecting him in terms of being a lock. I don't think he's a lock. I don't think
Yeah.
he's out of the race, but I also don't think he's a lock.
So for
So
tomorrow's Globe nominations, okay, let's start with comedy musical. Who do you think of the 6 that I love how comedy musical, quote unquote, like sometimes they throw in ones that aren't really a comedy. But like the holdovers would be a comedy. So Paul Giamatti, Ryan
oh
Gosling.
yeah, yeah, I'm going with Paul and Ryan and what else did they consider a comedy?
I know it's hard.
I can't remember.
I don't have
Man,
my
I
Gold
should have.
Derby filled out for Globe.
I I'm trying to think. I think I threw Chalamet in there for Wonka.
Okay.
Um, I think I've got Matt
Who's the lead
Damon for
actor?
Air.
Is there a lead actor for Color Purple or no?
No, Coleman's running supporting. I
Okay.
mean, I don't think that. I don't think you can bump that. That role is not really. I mean, from previous works, it's not a lead role. I think he's Danny Glover's role from the film, I believe, and I think that was a supporting actor nomination the first time around. So he's running where he's supposed to be. Um,
You don't think they do Fair Play? That's not a comedy, but
no, Fair Play is a drama.
I would love to see Alden
Poor
Ehrenreich for
Things.
Fair
The
Play.
Poor Things, those actors are considered
Oh,
supporting.
okay, okay.
So, but that would be a best comedy or musical contender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
Blackberry.
yeah, Jay Baruchel could get in
Yeah.
there for Blackberry, which would be kind of surprising.
Would you consider
Um,
Air a comedy musical?
Air is being considered a comedy, yeah.
Okay, so Matt Damon.
So Matt Damon. Um, yeah,
I
I
think that's
mean,
it.
yeah, but I can't think of who the other people are that I picked out of that category.
Yeah.
It's
So
weird because
we're
like
we're doing
they
this right off the fly
exist.
right now.
Yeah, I'm doing this on the fly.
Is
I
Ferrari being
mean,
considered a drama?
yeah, Ferrari is being considered a drama.
I think
I don't think
Ferrari's like
Adam
the tourist
Driver.
of this year.
I don't think Adam Driver is going to get in.
Oh, really? For Globes, even? You don't think so?
No, I
Okay.
don't. I don't think Ferrari's going to get nominations. I think its best chances are with Penelope Cruz, maybe supporting actress
Yeah.
popping up. I think the contention in drama is too strong. I actually am really interested to see. I've heard a couple critics mention that A24 has been really bad about the screeners this year. So I'm wondering who has seen Iron Claw because only a couple people have. But Zach Efron is getting like crazy good buzz for the Iron Claw, and I'm wondering if Golden Globes can make that happen for him.
I
If he could
wanna
possibly be the surprise sixth nomination in lead actor. I actually have him. He was in my honorable mentions. We didn't go through honorable mentions
Oh yeah, yeah.
for Oscars, but he's my number 8 below Coleman, who was 6, and Leo, who was 7. I have Zach being 8 because the timing of his film is good. He's
Yeah.
coming right at the end of the year, the buzz and everything. He could catch on at the right moment. And if he's going to surprise, if we're giving High School Musical an Oscar nomination this year, it's because of timing. So,
I think I would love to see a video from him on his diet and exercise routine because he was big. He was cut in Neighbors, but then for this he's like built like wide. It's like he did a whole different workout routine than he usually does for movies, and I want to see like what he did differently with his diet and his exercise and how he like built his body in a different way. I think that'd be really cool if he did a video about that.
yeah, well, he's obviously with that Down to Earth series that he has, he's very big into like healthy eating and stuff. And I guess cocaine is not necessarily on that plan anymore. But he that was a low blow for me. But
Oh
anyway,
damn!
yeah, I, we never forget, Zach. We never forget. So yeah, I think Zach could probably get in there. I also think like Andrew Scott's going to get in. Um, I think Taylor Hughes is going to continue to get left out of everything. I don't see him
Is
getting
that
nominated
for
anymore.
Past Lives?
Yeah, for Past Lives, I don't think I just watched as much as I could. I just watched Passages, and for this guy that keeps popping up everywhere, I, the film doesn't have audio description,
Which
and
movie?
it's Passages.
I've never even heard of this.
It's it's a movie film. Movies
It's
distributing
a movie film.
Mubi
Okay.
MUBI as the
Oh, okay,
distributor,
okay,
and
okay.
they did not put audio description on it. And
Crazy.
it stars this Franz Rogowski who went on. He was the surprise best actor pick for National Border Review, just like
Okay.
out of nowhere. And I think he's got an Independent Spirit Award nomination too, or he did Gotham or something. He was one of the other two uh, independent aimed awards he got nominated for. So he's picked up a couple nods, and still nobody.
Okay.
Even though he's
I
only been
have a
named a couple
question for
times,
you.
nobody's like, no, he's not. It's because the film is like it's a lot of sex, and if
Just like
Sulphur's not
Poor
going to happen,
Things.
this is not going to happen.
Poor Things has a
So
lot of sex too. I have a question for you. An off-topic audio description question. So for me,
yeah,
when a movie doesn't have AD, not only I boycott it. I will not pay a dime to rent it, to do anything. If it's streaming for free, I might check it out or whatever. But will not give money to that movie because they aren't accessible. Did you pay to rent this? Or do you have that do you do that too, or do you rent it and talk about how you didn't get the full experience with it?
It's that. It's the ability to talk about why it's not accessible, and continue to explain that for people who don't understand why we need the audio description that we need. I've heard too many stories of people just assuming, and just not providing it and making the choice to not provide it. And that's the thing that bothers me is that I know of some instances where there's actually been a choice to not provide it, and
Mhm.
uh,
Neon.
that
What?
bothers me.
Neon?
Like, you're actually choosing to deny me accessibility because you don't understand what audio description is, what it does, what its purpose is. So I review the film, and I throw the grade unwatchable, which sounds really bad. I don't really give a shit. Put
Yeah,
audio
no.
description on your
See,
film,
that's good
you
though. That's
know?
a good way to get their attention.
So I've watched probably 30 films this year without audio description that I've graded as
Oof.
unwatchable.
Are you completely blind?
And I have like little tiny blind spots that keep me from walking into a wall. Like
Okay.
little tiny spots left. I can see like a door and a wall. I perceive light, but I can't. No, I at a TV screen. No,
So
I
what if
can't
it's
see what's on
like
there.
something foreign like Godzilla minus one? Will you sit there even though you're not getting literally anything out of it and watch it or no?
Well, if I knew there was no English track at all to it, then I would not watch it. Like if that thing
Okay.
hits a streaming service and it's totally in Japanese, no. I mean, I tried that with uh,
Parasite?
I tried that with RRR, and it was just the English dub, but I didn't know what was happening throughout the rest of the film, and I live streamed me watching RRR. But at least I had the English dub. With this, if there isn't at least a dub, if I'm not
Yeah.
just going to sit and listen to Japanese
No.
people talk for 2 hours, that's maddening.
No. Yeah.
This film alone, passages is like 50% in French, which was a lot for me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, uh, there a lot of English, but um, and it's got Ben Wishaw's in it, so
Okay.
it does have English, but it's also a lot of it is in French,
Kind of
and
like
it
Anatomy of a
was
Fall is the same way.
yeah, it was kind of maddening. It's considered to be an English film, like an
Okay.
English language film. It just happens to have a lot of French in it, and without the ability to even have subtitles read to me, I missed out on a lot of passages, uh, but it didn't blow me away either way. So
Yeah. Well, I think my honorable mentions for Best Actor, I think DiCaprio is probably my number six. Andrew Scott's probably my number seven. And then, because I love it, Alden Ehrenreich, who has no chance, he's my number eight. But I would not be mad. I love Fair Play. Oh, I know the other one we were forgetting for Golden Globes for comedy. Dumb Money.
I don't think it's gonna get nominated.
No,
Nah, I think it's gonna come up short,
I think
like
that movie's so
across the
great, and it
board.
did not get enough attention.
I think it's a good film. I don't think it's a great film, and I don't think it's from Black Bear Studios or something. The same people that did the Jennifer Lawrence film, and I don't know. I don't
Which
know what they're
Lawrence
gonna
film?
do. The No Hard Feelings. Sorry, No
Oh,
Hard
okay.
Feelings earlier this year. Um, I just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Dumb Money is gonna do, but I have a feeling nothing. It hasn't really registered this season
Yeah.
at all. I don't know about It's such an ensemble film. I don't see it getting any acting nominations. There wasn't anybody in there that just popped for me as being like a standout performance, and I really wanted Paul Dano to get a nomination for The Fabelmans. He is so overdue.
Yeah.
After
Has
like
he never
winning
been
the award,
nominated?
he's
No,
never been
he has.
nominated. No,
Okay.
he's never been nominated for an Oscar.
Really?
Really, which is why
That's
The Fabelmans
shocking.
mattered so much. So I really wanted him to get in there, but I don't think that money's gonna happen. No,
Yeah.
my honorable mentions, I had Domingo as six, just in case Netflix figures out some my thing about Domingo is it's possible that his campaigning for the color purple will remind people that he's in Rustin, and he
I
is
think
in
the entire
Paris.
campaign for Rustin is just Coleman Domingo.
But I just don't think Netflix is gonna. But Netflix has to see Coleman Domingo just can't go out there and stand in without the film. Like Netflix has to pay to host screenings of Rustin, and they just do not seem motivated to do anything but Maestro right now. So I just don't know what they're gonna do with Rustin. But if he's out there campaigning for Color Purple, he's getting his face out there. So that's why I have him a little bit above DiCaprio. And then I
Hmm.
got DiCaprio at 7. I had Zac Efron at 8 for the Iron Claw.
That's right.
Joaquin Phoenix at 9 for
Oof.
Napoleon, just because even though he's not getting great reviews, it's still Joaquin Phoenix. So maybe, like,
I saw
it would not
Napoleon.
shock me if he just suddenly appeared in the in the Best Actor race. But yeah,
He
and
kind of
then
just acts like Joaquin in Napoleon. There's no.
no, no, I totally believe that, but he's been nominated enough times where I could see the Oscars loving him enough to just. I see people just voting for him. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, Joaquin. They're not going to vote for him for Beau is Afraid. That's for
No.
sure.
Do you
So he's
think?
not getting nominated for that.
I would hope that Jay Baruchel has more of a chance than Joaquin, but I don't think that's a thing.
I would hope Jay Baruchel does. But my number 10 is sort of like a flip flop. It's like there's a caveat here for my number 10. My number 10 right now is Teo Yu for Past Lives. I don't really think he's got a shot, but
No.
who knows? But there is one person who I think if their film could get some exposure and they can get some momentum, maybe, and that's Nicolas Cage for Dream Scenario, but he needs that Best Actor nomination tomorrow
That's a
morning.
great movie.
So he needs to get in the race for the Best Actor nomination. If he can't get a Golden Globe nomination, that film is dead.
That would be a comedy.
So it is.
Nomination.
It's running in the comedy category,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to be the film nomination. He just needs to be able to get his own nomination to stay in the race. So
Yeah.
I'm leaving off Anthony Hopkins for Freud's Last Session because it's Bleecker Street, and I'm sorry, but distributors matter. It
Yeah.
matters who is pushing your campaign, which is exactly why Andrea Riseborough had to fund her own Oscar campaign. So if you have a shitty distributor that doesn't run Oscar campaigns like Mubi or Bleecker Street or Music Box or any one of these out of roadside attractions, like it's not happening. So
Yeah. What about? So I know almost nothing about Memory, but it's on my list to see. Have you seen Memory yet?
I have, but Peter Sarsgaard, from what I understand, is running in supporting. I mean, I haven't
Okay.
seen Memory, but I know who you're talking about, and Peter Sarsgaard is running in supporting
Okay.
because he won the Best Actor at Venice.
Gotcha. And then Origin.
Origin's lead is the Punisher. He's not getting a nomination.
Okay.
It's Ingenue Ellis is the one that everybody's going crazy for in Origin. It's not. I mean, I love that actor, but it's not going to him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we will see tomorrow if the. I don't think the Globes will change much, but it'll be interesting to see 12. Because we were struggling to come up with 12 on our own, so we'll see who they nominate tomorrow.
I mean, like in drama, I can come up with the nominations. In comedy, I was having a hard time because I was trying to think of the movies. But then once I started thinking of the performances, I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be like Nicolas Cage could get in there. It made it a little bit easier once I started remembering some of the other performances. So, yeah, and they're counting May, December as a comedy. I watched that. I didn't find it funny at all. I found
there were a couple moments.
Very sobering. There are maybe like 1 or 2 moments, but you could say that about some other films too. Like just because a film makes you laugh once or twice doesn't suddenly make it a comedy. No, it's so weird that it's a comedy.
It's uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's a film that makes people feel like, oh yeah, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
rolling in the aisles. but we'll see
Do you
whether or not it
think
can get a best comedy nomination.
do you think Across the Spider-Verse or Ninja Turtles will be in Best Comedy tomorrow?
No, 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 no.
No.
I don't even think you can't even pick them on Gold Derby. I don't think.
The what?
I don't even think on Gold Derby they're eligible. I don't even know if they pick
Oh,
animated features outside of the animated race.
gotcha.
Um, I know I was watching some people talk about whether or not they thought The Boy and the Heron would also get an international nomination because I guess it's running with its original language subtitled in
Do you know
theaters
if
right
that's
now.
gonna have description?
It's G Kids. I haven't seen a lot of films from them. I want to say they did Belle, and when Belle was on Max, it had audio description. So if I'm right about that, and G Kids did Belle, then they should.
Mm-hmm.
But they, I don't know. It's weird because a lot of the other Miyazaki movies were sort of released through Buena Vista, uh, either like Miramax or whatever, like Spirited Away and some of those other ones. So they were sort of like Disney, which is why they all have like dub voice casts. Um, but yeah, now this is G Kids, and I don't know what G Kids is going to do, but they're choosing to release it with the original voice cast right now. So
I guess we will
it's the
see.
number one film at the box office, so I would hope it has audio description.
I don't
It's
think it
weird
does
that
in
like
theaters, at
it's
least.
weird that
But
like the top two movies at the box office are not accessible to blind people. It's just
yeah.
bizarre. It's like Boy and the Heron and Godzilla are just
And then
really.
I'd also like to shout out. Am I allowed to call someone out on here? Is that okay?
Yeah,
The
whatever.
studio?
Yeah.
Okay. Neon distributed Eileen. We interviewed Rain, who wrote the audio description track for that movie, and there's no audio description in the theater, which means it's available. Neon just decided to send out the DCP without the description track, and it's so annoying because like not only is his work not being seen or I guess heard, but like we can't go see the movie at all.
Yep. And that's Neon, and that
Yeah,
is a problem that Neon has far too often.
yeah. The same
And
thing with A Wonderful Knife too. Yeah, he wrote it and it wasn't out there. So
yep, yeah, and that was. I had fun watching that, and I acknowledge I was like, man, I'd love to be able to grade this film if it had audio description. This totally seems like it's up my alley,
it still doesn't
but
on streaming.
uh, no, because the streaming platform it went to was AMC Plus, so it's a
Uh,
Shudder. It's a Shudder release.
does
So
Birth Rebirth have it on there? Probably not.
no,
Oh my god!
so
But see, both of those movies have description because I interviewed the writer, and it's like really, like, come on, it's so
I
frustrating.
know, and getting these services to use the audio description is such a problem. They just won't
Yeah,
do it. I don't understand why you would pay for something you're not using. And what is the point of that? Why
yeah,
would you? But then again, we've got David Zaslav over here at HBO Max making full on feature length movies and being like and just shelving them. Just nah,
yeah.
nobody gets to see that film anymore.
So
Um,
you pay for AMC Plus even though it doesn't have AD.
so that I can call them out on their content. Yeah, I believe it's
Good for you.
important
Good for you.
to continue to call people out on their lack of accessibility as a customer instead of complaining from the outside looking in and being and saying like I'm not participating and I want to be able to say no, you owe me this, I am paying for you, I deserve to have the same, I deserve to be treated like everybody else.
Good for you.
So yeah, so I'll sit through this crap and then explain why it's crap and explain
Yeah.
why it's unwatchable. I saw Skinamarink without audio description, so I'll sit through just about damn near anything.
Oh, see, I rented that on iTunes with description.
Yeah, well, imagine watching it without audio description.
Oh my
That
god.
was my life.
I
So
could barely watch it with.
it's it was interesting. I think there's like 4 or 5 spoken words in the entire movie.
Yeah.
it's unintelligible without
Yeah.
audio. It should be illegal to run that movie without audio description.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's bad. We're way off topic on Best
No, I
Actor.
know, I
Like
know.
no
I'm
one's
sorry.
watching at this point anymore. We lost our audience. They left. They left a while ago. I
I mean,
noticed
half
my
of
thing
them are
went down
blind
to
anyway, so
zero
they'll find this
watching.
interesting, hopefully.
So anyway, those are our Best Actor predictions. We have four that we agree on, and then we disagree on the fifth spot. So
But it's funny because
um,
neither of us have DiCaprio on the fifth spot, so we agree that he's out at this point.
we agree that we do not think Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, I don't understand. Killers is performing really well right now. I get that. I see it. It's happening, but I just don't understand how you get passionate about giving somebody. If you're voting for Leo, you have to be voting for him because you believe he deserves a second Academy Award. He's already won, and he already has a shit ton of nominations. So, what is the passion? What are you fighting for? What are you trying to recognize? Are you trying to Meryl Streep him up to like 20? Like what is the
Yeah,
purpose of voting for him when you have people who have never been nominated and have never won? Without him in that category, if you run any combination of Paul Giamatti, Killian Murphy, Bradley Cooper, Jeffrey Wright, Andrew Scott, or Coleman Domingo, you have actors who majority have never been nominated, and all of them have never won. So DiCaprio I just don't get it.
I
I
think
don't know what I
Lily
don't know what.
Gladstone is the face of that movie. Like I saw a thing that said top 10 movies of 2023, and one of the pictures was Lily Gladstone. Like they are marketing her at this point.
Yeah, which is it looks like that's where that film is going to head. I thought she was going to fall out there for a little while of the race. I thought that she might end up splitting votes between lead and supporting, but it looks like she's probably pretty. I don't know if she's going to win though. I'm not sold on that. I still think Carrie Mulligan has a really good shot. She's been nominated before, and from what I
Honestly,
understand, she takes over Maestro from Bradley Cooper.
honestly,
So
I was hoping for Sandra Hüller, who I don't think has a chance right now. But I saw Poor Things on Friday. Emma Stone is the best she's ever been. As much as like she's won already, all that. I'm like, if we go on performance on by itself, I think Emma Stone has it.
I know it's so tough though because she already has that win, and that's giving her a second Oscar win. This young, she'd be done. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like she wouldn't. I mean, it pretty much the rest of the work for the rest of her career is, she's only she might get nominated. She might not. I mean, people would be even less concerned with making sure she gets nominations or winning. And we don't know what else she's got coming down the pike. She's so
yeah,
young that as much as I would love to see her win for something like that, um, unfortunately, we gave it to her for La La Land. That was her
I mean, I
welcome
love
to the
La La
party.
Land, so I'm
She's
not
great in
sorry
La La
about that.
Land, but now you're sitting here going, well, Poor Things is, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like maybe she should have won for this
Yeah,
performance instead of the other one, but yeah, I don't know. I just really I think that the two wins for her is just yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
politically, it's hard, but yeah, if we were going just based on the performance, no politics or anything, I think Emma Stone had the best one of the year. But yeah, I mean, there's so much more that plays into the Oscars than that. I think at the very least, I don't like she would win for Golden Globe. I mean, unless I think they're probably counting Nyad as comedy too.
She
So
also she also has she's in the same boat as Leo, and she's kind of just lucky that her performance is so strong, and her performance is what hinges the whole movie on.
but
Because
see,
otherwise, I don't think because she's up against a shit ton of people who have never been nominated and have never won. she's the only one out of like, if you'd have to reach all the way back to like Helen Mirren and Golda, I think, to find somebody else in this race who's been nominated and won before.
See, the thing
Natalie
is,
Portman
like,
for May December also.
she's not in the same boat as Leo just because she's so much better than Leo. Like, Leo's good, but Leo's always great. And so is Emma Stone. She's always great. But she is so much better than I ever thought she could be in Poor Things. Like, I kept hearing, oh, she's so good in Poor Things. I'm like, yeah, but she's always good. Like, no, like, she has transformed in Poor Things. Like, I I think this is next level for her. So, and I think Leo is just like, I don't want to say he phoned it in because he never does that, but he doesn't do anything surprising in it. So, I think if anyone, yes, these other people have never been nominated before, but after seeing it, I'm like, there's no way you can't nominate Emma Stone.
Oh, I think she's gonna get nominated. I just
Yeah.
for the winning category, she's gonna be the only winner of the five.
Yeah.
And and then you're going to be talking about four people, and if you put people in there who have previously been nominated, then you're going to talk about, is it Carey Mulligan's time, is it Annette Bening's time, some of these other people who have been nominated before. Fantasia's not going to win. She's going to be happy to have that nomination, to become the second American Idol contestant with an Oscar nomination. It's just, that would be too weird. It's too weird to have two Oscar winners from the same season of American Idol. That is just bizarre. And for her to be the second Black actress ever after Halle Berry, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of the people who have tried to become the second Black actress, and it ends up being Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple.
No, she's not gonna win.
Who doesn't even she doesn't even seem to be interested in acting. She's only doing Color Purple.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like, is this really it? Like, of all the times Viola Davis came so close, we're gonna give it anyway.
Yeah.
I just don't see Fantasia winning. But
Best Actress is I love that category this year. It's so crowded. It's so dense. I love it. There's so much to pick from.
Yeah, it's a really strong category. But
Best Actor's a little less strong, but I think our four that we had in common, it'll be interesting to see who actually wins of those four. Like, for Best Actress, it's exciting to see who gets nominated because there's so many possibilities. But for actor, it's exciting to see who wins because it's so close.
Oh yeah, even out of my top 6, I'll count Andrew Scott and Coleman Domingo. I think any of them could win it, and I think it would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I cheer on people when it's like, when you're not the obvious choice sometimes, and it's still a great performance.
Yeah.
Because so many times great performances get left by the wayside. I think of it still blows my mind that Mask received 0 Oscar nominations.
Yeah. Oh,
Lee
and I are on the same page as you. Lee and I love that.
No idea how that film received 0 Oscar nominations.
Yeah, I completely
agree. Blows my mind. That was that should have been like Best Picture.
Yeah.
Best, that should have 4 acting nominations, screenplay.
Yeah. For everyone watching,
I don't know what happened.
For everyone watching, if you haven't seen Mass, it's literally for the 2 parents of people, victims in a school shooting, talking in a room for 2 hours. It is so good. It's depressing, but it's so good. So emotional.
It's riveting.
Yeah. I highly recommend you seek this movie out.
And Jason Isaacs. If I could have picked, I love Ann Dowd, and I think Ann Dowd is overdue a nomination, but the Jason Isaacs, for him, he's been around for so long. He's given out so many great performances. For him to have missed out on that, I don't even know. I don't know how that happened. It just,
there have been a couple.
Blows my mind.
Christopher Abbott, I think, is also a really underrated actor. I loved him in. There's a really small movie called James White that I really like. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, James White. His mom's dying through the whole movie. It's depressing, but he is so good. Toni Collette in Hereditary obviously got snubbed.
It's funny, Colette's been snubbed so many times
Yeah.
over the years. It's like a regular thing for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have more than one Oscar nomination, and it shouldn't be for The Sixth Sense.
Hmm.
She should have had other Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
I loved her in About a Boy. She's got a beautiful role in About a Boy that she should have been nominated for.
And this
Anyway.
year, honestly, Blackberry will probably get snubbed. Hopefully not, but we'll see.
I think Glenn Howerton has a real shot of surprising, of pulling a out of nowhere nomination. If that film had a different distributor, I would put up a lock. If that film
Oh yeah, like
could
had Apple
suddenly
or
get
something.
switched to a better distributor, then done. Signed, sealed,
Mhm.
delivered. He's in. But the fact that IFC has gotten this much traction out of him is amazing because they don't usually get traction.
IFC has 2 films in my top 5 movies of the year so far this year. They're really good movies this year.
Well, yeah, Blackberry's one of my. I think it's in my top 10 still this year. So,
And
Glenn
Birth
Howerton is
Rebirth. If
currently
you can
my
find that
top,
with AD, you
supporting
should watch
actor.
it.
So,
What was that? What was the last thing you said?
oh, I was saying Glenn Howerton. Currently, I have him as my best supporting actor, my top pick. I have him over Downey Jr. and some of the others that I've seen this year.
No, me too. I have Glenn Howerton in my Gold Derby as well.
I'd love to see Jamie Foxx get something, but that's not going to happen this year. He's got 2 great performances in The Burial, and They Clone Tyrone, and nothing seems to be happening for him.
Yeah,
but he was great this year in 2 films that nobody seems to care about.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, thank you so much for having me on again.
Being here and talking forever about everything. And where can we find The Dark Room? Other than an actual dark room with the lights off, where's your podcast?
So you can find the Dark Room podcast anywhere you get your podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Dark Room Filmcast, and you can find me on Instagram at Me and My Blazer. So feel free to reach out to me personally or listen to the podcast. We just had our friend Ashley Eakin on. She's a disabled director, so she is very vulnerable on the episode. She talks about her disability, and she's also a filmmaker who has utilized audio description on her movies. So I highly recommend you check that out. And her short film on Netflix, John, if you haven't seen it, it's called Forgive Us Our Trespasses. It's really, really good.
Ooh.
And it has description also.
I'll look it up. All right. Well, that's a wrap on Best Actor, even though I think we covered every category
except we did.
Supporting Actress. But we'll be back with more Oscar predictions whenever Alex or Lee have time.
Yeah.
And nail down the supporting categories and director and try to get those out soon. So excited about Golden Globes tomorrow. I'll have a reaction video of that after that happens. So make sure you like and subscribe. And that's it. So once again, thanks to Alex, and thanks to anybody who actually stayed this long in the video. Good God, what are you doing with your life? And I appreciate it, but Jesus, we were way off on a tangent there for a while.
Make sure you like the video too. Go down, hit that like button.
Hit that like button because it makes it appear to other people who may or may not want to watch this video. Probably they don't want to watch it, but it at least pop up for them. Anyway, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
All right. Take care, guys. Happy holidays.